Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My continuation of my book reading of The Time Machine. Chapter 5 Life in the Future. The evening was calm as I came out of the Great Hall, and the land was lit by the color of the sun as it went down. The big building was on the side of the White River Valley, but the Thames had moved a kilometer or two from its present position. I decided to climb to the top of a hill from where I could see more of our world in the year 802,701. That was the date the little dials of my machine had shown. As I walked, I looked for anything that could explain the bad condition of things. A little way up the hill, for example, was a great pile of stones held together by pieces of metal. These were the ruins of great buildings, although I couldn't imagine what its use had been. Looking around, with the sun taut, I realized that there were no small houses. Here and there among the trees and bushes were palace-like buildings. But the single house and possible even the family had disappeared. And then came another thought. I looked at a small group of figures who were following me. I saw that all had the same type of clothes, the same soft hairline, faces, and the same girlish arms and legs. It may seem odd, perhaps, that I hadn't noticed this before, but everything was so strange. Now I saw the fact clearly enough. These people of the future were all very similar in clothes, and in all other ways the differences between men and women had almost disappeared, and the children seemed to my eyes to be just smaller adults. Seeing how safely and comfortably these people lived, I felt that this close similarity of the sexes was understandable. If there are enough people, it becomes a problem rather than an advantage to have a lot of children. If violence comes only rarely and children are safe, there is less need for men to be strong and protect their families. This, I must remind you, was my feeling at the time. Later I discovered how wrong I was. So I continued, and because I could walk better than the people of the future, I found myself alone for the first time. At the top of the hill, I found a seat of a yellow metal that I didn't recognize. I sat down on it and looked at the wide view of our world under the sunset of that long day. It was as beautiful as I've ever seen. The west was burning gold mixed with some purple and red. Below was the valley of the Thames, in which the river lay like a line of shining metal. As I watched, I began to try to understand the things I had seen. Afterwards, I realized I only learned half the truth. It seemed to me that people were now past their best. The sunset made me think about the sunset of our people. For the first time, I began to understand an odd result of the social changes we are trying to make at the moment. Strength comes because we need to be strong. Weakness comes when we feel safe. The work of improving the conditions of life, of making life safer and safer, had continued until nothing more could be done. The result was what I saw. The science of our time had attacked only a few human diseases, but it moved forward. Farming today is still at an early stage. We improve our plants and animals very slowly. A new and better apple, a prettier and larger flower, a cow that gives more milk. One day the whole world will be better organized and better. I knew that this change had been made, and made well. In the space of time across which my machine had jumped, the air was free of unpleasant insects. The earth was free of useless plants, Everywhere there were fruits, and sweet and pleasant flowers. Beautiful birds flew here and there, and I saw no diseases during my stay. Social changes too had been made. I saw people living in fine buildings, beautifully dressed, but I hadn't yet found them doing any work. There were no signs of economic activity. The shop, the advertisement, buying and selling, all of these things are so important to us, and all of them were gone. It was natural in the evening that had the idea of social heaven. But this changing condition had to produce changes in people. What is the cause of human intelligence and energy? Difficulties make people strong and clever and help them to work together. And the family, with its protective love and selfishness, is there for the care of the children. The love of parents help to keep the young out of danger. Now, where were these dangers? I thought the physical smallness of the people, their low intelligence, and those big ruined buildings. It strengthened my belief that humans, who had always fought against nature, had finally won. Because after the fight comes quietness. People had been strong, energetic, and intelligent, and had used this energy to change their life conditions. And now they had to change too, and now they too had changed because of the new conditions. No doubt the beauty of the buildings was a result of the last waves of the now purposeless energy of people. After that, they began to lead quieter lives. Even artistic activity would finally disappear. Had almost disappeared in the time I saw. The people liked to cover themselves in flowers, to dance and to sing in the sunlight. That was all they did. As I stood there in the growing dark, I thought I had understood the whole secret of these pleasant people. Possibly their population control had worked too well, and their numbers had fallen instead of staying the same. That would explain the empty ruins. My explanation was very simple and believable enough, as most wrong ideas are. And that was the end of Chapter 5, Life in the Future. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.